You're very welcome back. Now, the Walk in My Shoes initiative is back. Between this Monday and Friday, some of Ireland's biggest celebs are taking part in Ireland's only pop-up radio station dedicated to the promotion of positive mental health.
Broadcasting live from St Patrick's University Hospital, the likes of Brent Pope, Keith Barry, Dustin the Turkey, Jenny Green and, of course, all four presenters of your Saturday AM will be DJing live for Walk in My Shoes Radio.
With us are Walk in My Shoes ambassadors, broadcaster Nuala Carey and model and wellness coach Alison Canavan. Good morning to you both.
Ladies.
Morning. Thank you for joining us. Alison, you've been with the Walk in My Shoes initiative
since
the beginning. For viewers who are joining us this morning, we're familiar with it over the last few years. You might just explain what it's all about.
So Walk in My Shoes initiative came about when a young guy who was attending St Pat's, who was 16, was really kind of trying to get his own peers to think about how it feels to be in someone's shoes who has mental health. So it started this whole narrative of maybe we should put ourselves in another person's shoes, you know, before we judge, you know, because years ago, God, how old is James? 7? I've only got one. How old is the one child I have? I remember when I first spoke out about mental health, it was not the thing to do. Do you know what I mean? It was very taboo. Everybody was very uncomfortable. So in the 7 years...
Now, this isn't 30 or 40 years ago. This is very recent.
Like when James was a baby and I accidentally spoke out about mental health. Like it wasn't something I wanted to come out.
Was it postnatal depression that you had first? Yes.
Oh, I've suffered from depression and anxiety since my early teens. So I would have been medicated most of my life.
Okay.
So when I had postnatal depression, it was really bad, and it was really, okay, you have a baby now, so now you need to do something. You need to really deal with it. You need to look at the problem. But I remember when I spoke out about it, the anxiety it caused within me, but also the reaction I had from people on the street. They weren't able to look at me. They weren't able to talk to me. And we have come so far in that time. Like in 7 years, to see how
when you say, Alison, they didn't know how to deal with you because they weren't sure of the right thing to say, was that it?
People were deeply uncomfortable with the word mental health. People were deeply uncomfortable with, because it is the fear factor. I mean, people who, you know, suffer from depression, anxiety, or any form kind of mental health, and they don't really know how to deal with it either, you know. It's unknown territory because it's something you can't see. But for someone who has never struggled or suffered in this space, well, they really don't understand it. Like, it is going back to the old thing of, you know, you can see other illnesses, like if you have a broken arm or if you have any other kind of dis-ease with yourself. But the mind is such unknown territory, and it really instills fear in people. So we're only coming around to talking about it and to understanding our mind and to understand the power we have over our mind.
Would you say it's come so far, Alison, because of initiatives like this?
Oh, like, to be part of St Pat's and to watch this initiative grow. Like the first year we were doing it, myself and Shay presented a few hours every morning for the 5 days, you know. and
now we're all doing it.
And now, but even the holistic way of looking at mental health and how it's changed, and you'll see over the space of next week, the amount of people coming in, and it has just changed into such positivity and hope. I love it. I love the conversation
around it. There's a great vibe.
There's a great vibe, but there's also so much about what you can do. So it's giving power back to the people. It's like, look at the amount that you can do yourself on a daily basis. And we're going to have everybody from holistic people coming in talking about mindfulness and meditation to gratitude to exercise and movement and good food. And so for me, like, talking about mental health now is really uplifting.
It's positive.
It's full of hope and it's positive.
It's so important.
Nuala, this is your second time around DJing. Now, we've never done it before. We're going to spring into it this week. What can we expect? Tell us what the vibe is like in there.
Do you know what? There's a great atmosphere out there, and there's wonderful camaraderie as well. When I presented or co-presented last year, I was with Marshy Whelan and Brent Pope. So that was new for me because obviously I'm more involved in television, but I started in radio. So in a way it was going back to my roots. But I'd be honest, I haven't actually had any mental health difficulties. And people that haven't are very welcome to tune in as well, because mental health is like physical health, and you need to keep your mental health strong. So if things are going well for you, that's great, but we need you to listen in as well and find out how you can keep well and help other people. And in fact, the show I'm involved in next Wednesday between 3 and 5, I'm co-presenting with Professor John Crown, who is one of Ireland's leading oncologists. So one of the things we want to talk about is how you would deal with your emotions, maybe when you've had a diagnosis of cancer. And Dr. Sinead Lynch, who was part of
Yes,
your
yeah.
programme here, I think
Yes.
she might be in with you tomorrow.
Yeah.
She's going to be one of our guests. So you're in for a great treat. And what I would say to both of you, and it's something that I tried to do last year, is keep asking for practical advice. We had a lovely guest on last year. She talked about anxiety attacks. I've never had one. I've never experienced one. But I said to her, well, if I'm sitting beside somebody at a bus stop and they have one, what can I do to help? You know, so I feel that we're all in it together.
And we just had a conversation before we came on air where you said you love going for a walk.
Yeah,
and you
really simple things.
Yeah, often
Yeah.
go for a walk for an hour because it's really good to help clear your mind. So it's all those preventative things that we do on a daily basis. Like what I would love to see happening in the world of, you know, mental health is people saying, I feel great, how can I stay this way?
Yeah, and that's
Instead
exactly
of-
what you're
yeah.
saying, Nuala, isn't it? It's about maintaining your positive mental health. And I think the likes of Adam Clayton and big
Yeah.
names like
Yeah.
that putting their weight against this campaign. Because I know I went to interview him a couple of years ago
Yes,
for Walk in
he's
My
an
Shoes.
ambassador as well,
So
yeah.
he's an ambassador as
Yeah.
well. So it all starts to normalise mental health
Yeah.
issues, doesn't it? And gets the conversation going.
Yeah, and it's very positive. You know, when you tune in, there's music as well. You know, it's not like it's
Yeah.
all, you know, serious.
It's not
the
gonna be
whole
doom and
time.
gloom.
Not heavy
Not
issues,
at all.
yeah,
not
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
It's all done in a very positive way.
And
I think that's a key one that you hit the nail on the head, Nuala, in terms of recognising somebody else who might be suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how you can
because
help.
as you say, if somebody falls off a ladder and they've cut their arm,
Yeah,
you
you
know, he
know
needs a
what to
bit of
do.
help now. He's cut his arm. But if you're sitting at a bus stop, how do you know that somebody's having an anxiety
I
attack?
know.
I think that's that practical advice
Well-
of making us aware of people around us, not just your own well-being.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what I tried to do because
Yeah.
I was trying to walk in someone else's shoes and just
Yeah.
anything, you know, small that I could do to help.
But it could be a family member as well, couldn't it? That you
course
might
it
not
could.
have noticed, you know, very small, subtle
Yeah.
signs of some kind of mental illness or anxiety in them, and it might help diagnose that.
And
or-
weeks like this, what you really notice next week is the hospital gets transformed. So even for all the patients in St. Pat's, for everybody that works there, this is a week where they're saying, God, we wish we could keep it like this because
It's a great lift.
There's such a great lift and there's such a great buzz about the place. And every year it's just gotten stronger and stronger.
And by the
which is
way,
brilliant.
initially, years ago, I had thought this was just a hospital radio. This is everyone can tune in and
Oh, yeah.
listen
Oh,
to
nationwide,
Walk in
yeah.
My Shoes radio, which is 105.2.
It is in Dublin. There's different
Dublin.
frequencies,
Yeah.
but you can listen through the website walkinmyshoes.ie.
Yeah.
You get all the details of how to tune in, who's going to be on for the week, and what they're going to be talking about.
Well,
I
good luck.
can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
you'll do
Will you show us
brilliant.
the ropes?
You'll like a duck to water. No bother to you.
Ladies, thank you for coming
Thank
in this
you for
morning. Really
having us.
appreciate it.
Well done.